It begins with a cold. It starts off mildly. Your nose starts running. It gets harder and harder to pronounce words. You take days off due to a fever, congestion in the head. Finally, you start going to work again, sure that the cold is making its way from your body. But it begins with the cold. It isn't apparent at first. You think it's because of the cold that, when all is silent, you hear random words being whispered right behind. No. In front. No. In your ear. Dinner. Mom. Sonny. Dead. Car. But it begins with a cold. You start going more and more to the doctors. You notice more people than usual, and that they all cringe in pain as one more person walks in, all with runny noses, swollen heads, baggy eyes, open, slime mouths. You go in. The doctor says the same thing every time. Take this medicine twice daily. Keep away from children. Rest well. Rest well. Rest well. But it starts from a cold, because it's too late once the cold sets in. The voices in your head get louder and louder. The boss doesn't notice that you're gone because he's been sent to the asylum for unknown reasons, sniffling about thoughts and how it's the end of the world. The Chinese vendor across the street doesn't notice you're in all the time because he's also upstairs in his cramped apartment, wasting the last day of his life watching crappy MTV shows because that's the only channel his antenna receives due to a thunderstorm 37 years ago. He's been there that long. But most importantly, you don't notice that you're gone from work. You drive in every day, but it seems like you've been in there for days when you drive in. The calendars are there to prove it. Your boss got them from a failed business venture when he tried when he was fresh out of college. It was called 365 Ideas a Year. The bottle of the pills say rest well. You rest well. You rest too well. But the next time you wake up, you notice that your Zimbabwean plumber is gone, but you haven't called him since last February 20th because your roof had leaked 27.6 millimeters of a mixed solution of mercury and water, which was kind of dumb because mercury kills you. That's what David Kelling, Mr. Kelling, told you in the 7th grade. You hear the voices more. The Spanish pizza delivery guy next door watches his music videos. You can hear them clear. You understand Spanish. Rest well. Rest well. Rest well. Rest well. It begins with a cold. There's not a day in his life that he doesn't regret divorcing his wife. The voices are clear now. Lisa, don't leave me. 365 sounds like a great idea for a business venture. Carl, don't you think that you're gonna get that great idea? We're gonna be millionaires now. Now the voices are clear. They happen when they come more. They happen and they come more frequently. You can't stop it, like it's in the Hoover Dam broke open. You can't stop it. Rest well. Now you sit on the IKEA sofa, going through each step over and over again, while people outside your house honk their Ford 2013 model horns over and over again, trying to get their voices out. You don't know what's happening, but by the next week the voices are almost constant. You go to the clinic, writhing in pain as you pass the LGBT rights parade. Voices of various people banging in your head. But it's not the same voices at the radio that Dan Gerald hosts on 67.1 FM every Saturday morning. You don't know what's happening, but the math equations that have always bothered you are ringing in your head. Now a dog comes up to you, and it speaks to you in English, that a hot dog vendor hates you for that beeping the driver of the car in front of you. But somehow, you make it to the clinic. Somehow, you think that all those voices, all this truth, is rushing through your head because of that cold all week. But that thought is replaced by the ones that tell you that there's another worm on Mars fucking another one, and they can't enjoy it because they're worms, and the ones that tell you that the missing guy that Haley Baker anchor told you about 21 days ago is drifting down a river. Too many thoughts. Another guy with a runny nose stumbles into the clinic, whilst the cheap Cambodian chime rings for the 4,000th time. The clinic should celebrate. 4,000 chimes. The door closes. His name was Jack Haggerty. He has had this code for exactly 432 million seconds. 432 million seconds. In another reality, you are eating a hot dog while accessing the vast memories of the hot dog guy. In another, you are already dead. In yet another, you go to work like normal. Finally, there's one reality that this guy just experienced. His 432 millionth second of the cold. The door opens, the doctor walks in. You are next. The head yells out in as a pain of a dozen more thoughts enter your head. Rest well. Lie down. Rest well. It begins with the cold. You don't even feel it when a door closes in your brain, having just held the entirety of 5 human minds for 1 week, and then holding 105 minds of homosexual protesters, to holding the 36 patients' minds of the clinic, to holding just one mind of the doctor, collapses onto itself, its neurons and microscopic axons having give up under sheer stress of doing a job that it just got used to. You don't feel it when your skin, having its nerves and skin cells stretched by almost a non-stop flow of blood for 31 days of January, explodes. You don't feel it when the police come and poke at the mass of red that was once your brain. Doctor having pissed himself at the sight of one of his patients just blowing his head off. But this is just a start. Your consciousness is awake. You don't feel it. You know all of that. You know that the final thought passing through your head before he died was the doctor's name. You don't know that you're gonna know everything, every little detail, and you can't tell to no one. Not in any dimension. Not in the past, not in the future, not in the present, and everything in between. Rest well. Rest well. Just know that it starts with the cold.